You got use the other one, Steve, the new countdown one.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Jurassic Unicast. I'm joined today with my fellow co-host James. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Someone's got COVID.
Yeah, it's good intro, good intro. We're also joined with Chris, TERRORDOME 3000, and SICKY T. How's it going, guys?
All right.
Good.
Mint.
Welcome.
Going great.
Good. So today we're going to be discussing Jurassic 7 and the new partnership that's been announced. Are we excited?
Yeah, I am.
Who isn't?
So who I think we've not had you two on for a while. So I think you two should start TERRORDOME and old SICKY T. So
Nice one.
when you first found out, SICKY, about the old director Gareth Edwards, what was your thoughts?
Well, let's just start. I've got some notes that I want to get through.
Of course you are.
I'm partly joking, but I'm actually sort of not. Well, there was that David Leitch, and I was like, nah, not for me, not my cup of tea. Didn't feel like a good fit. And then he was out the picture, and I was like, great, okay, sit up in the air. And then Gareth Edwards comes in, and my instant reaction was, I think this could be good. I think it's going to be a winner. Because if you look at his earlier films, he did that Monsters, which is famous for being like super low budget and all that. And it's like, it's got that Spielberg sort of feel to it. He shoots the monsters to like, everyone talks about the scale. He shoots stuff from like, with stuff in the foreground, shooting through cars, behind windows, on TV screens. Very Spielbergian. So that's promising. But although that film, I would stress, is not about, if you watch it, Monsters isn't about, it's about the characters, it's not about the monsters, which is the funny thing. So if you take that sort of DNA and then put it in a Jurassic Park film, you're onto a winner as far as I'm concerned. Because that's going to be, it's got all the hallmarks of what makes Jurassic Park good, in my opinion. So I was very, very, I was pleased. It feels good to me. Top of my list.
Sweet. Jack?
Okay, so I'm going to approach this from a different angle. I
As
have
always.
notes in my head. I have notes in my head, extensive, like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, like a warehouse of ideas. Now, I'm going to deconstruct this from SICKY T's point of view. Because when David Leitch was announced, I was like, okay, I just watched Bullet Train and I thought it was fun, but it was definitely not Jurassic. John Wick, the same. I was like, but then I was like, but David Koepp is writing it. So I was like, okay, so if the story is good, then maybe he'll be able to direct it quite well. So I was a bit more lenient on the idea. I was like, this is going to be completely nuts, but let's just go with it. And then obviously you got Cannes. So I was like, okay. And then I saw obviously everyone else was lamenting about David Leitch. Like, oh no, I don't want him involved and all that sort of stuff. So I thought, that's interesting. And I'm with them because Gareth Edwards is a much better pick, in my opinion. However, I did find it interesting that everyone was like, no, not David Leitch, but yes, Gareth Edwards, but the story hasn't changed. So in my head, I asked the question. I was like, well, would people who don't like Dominion, would they be more lenient against that film if Gareth Edwards had directed Dominion and not changed the story at all from how Colin presented it? With his direction, would people like it more or less? And that's what it came down to when Gareth Edwards was announced this new one, I was like, the story hasn't changed. So I'm all on board with Gareth Edwards over David Leitch, don't get me wrong, but I just found it interesting because everyone was like, no, yes, but the story hasn't changed.
Well,
And that's my wheelhouse. I'm like, I love the storyline of these movies. The world building is my jam. So I'm like, I'm more interested in what Koepp's doing more than the directing standpoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's the thing though. If you can't just say, oh, it's the same script and it's probably going to be directed in a similar way or whatever that point was, if that's what you were making. I don't know.
No,
But
not that it would be
Leitch-
directed the same, but like that it would it would definitely just say the same, keep the same story. Like, what if Gareth Edwards did Jurassic World and nothing changed? Like, what would the difference be?
Yeah. I mean, I'd wager that I'd enjoy it more. I think it'd look a lot better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I think Leitch and Edwards are so different in terms of the style.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like, Gareth Edwards is such a product of Spielberg and
Yeah,
like James Cameron. But Leitch is very action. It's very high octane and all that sort of stuff. But Gareth Edwards, he's just got that. He's got fucking problems with it. Sorry for the swearing. He's got problems. But
that's 6 minutes. You're lucky.
That's we're still monetized.
Well, this is. Can I just mention something on Gareth Edwards as well? Like, obviously, when he was announced, and I was joining in with the excitement with everyone else, but in my own way. And I saw people posting like pictures of the opening of Godzilla with the helicopter that looks exactly like the InGen helicopter going over the trees and everything. And I thought, that's all well and good, but that's like, we've seen that. Like, in Godzilla, what my favorite scene in that film, I think, is when the male Muto wakes up for the first time. Bryan Cranston's death scene.
That's
well,
really good scene.
When that thing wakes up and he's in the back of that truck and it's flipping over and you're seeing it through the gas mask and stuff, I'm like, that felt more Jurassic to me than just seeing the helicopter that looked the same going over the jungle. Of course, that looks like Jurassic Park because it's pretty much a shot lifted from the movie. Yeah. But using the same iconography. But the male Muto waking up was like a whole new scene, monster scene from his own perspective. So that's what got me excited. I was like, that I could see over anything I've seen that David Leitch has done. No disrespect to him. I do like some of the movies.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean by that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say on that. Oh, sorry. Just on the end of that there. That's one of the problems with Edwards is that his influences are sometimes so like on the screen. It just almost takes you out of it. Like the creator is absolutely filled with that. That was like my biggest complaint about that creator was that it was. Like,
I haven't seen it yet.
I could just go through it and say, oh well, there's Blade Runner, there's Akira, there's Apocalypse Now. Like it was so on the nose. And it's not to say you can't do homage and be influenced by great works because that's just that's how we make art.
Well, the Jurassic movies are self-referential as well, in their own right. They call back to themselves. Every sequel's done it, so that wouldn't be anything new with Jurassic per se. But like my biggest concern is if he does something like that, is if a character repeats a line of dialogue. Those ones are the worst, in my opinion. Like if a character in, like, let's say Jurassic World Dominion turned to the camera and went, "Clever girl," it's like, oh, no, that's not the kind of callbacks that we enjoy. Unless I'm wrong.
It's more like visual callbacks. I think. Yeah,
visual callbacks. So I'm just worried that he might go for that low hanging fruit. I don't think I've seen it in any of his films though.
No. There's a comment here that I will get to. I've starred it, so I won't forget about this one because it's got some good points. Let's go to Chris. Your opinion when the director came in, then Steve, and then I'll finish up.
Yeah, I mean, David Lynch, I've seen a few of his films, so I haven't seen them all. But I was never that into anything he majorly did. So when he got announced as a director, I was just like, let's see what he does. A bit like we said earlier on, as long as it's a good storyline, maybe he could pull it off. But when he was kind of binned and then Gareth Edwards got announced, again, a bit like the rest of you, I'm pretty happy with it. I was pretty happy with what he did with Rogue One. I think it's probably one of the best out of the full Star Wars franchise that they did, including the originals. I'd still, it doesn't beat the originals, but I think it's up there with them. Haven't seen the creator yet, but I have seen a few behind the scenes things on it and what he's done with it and how it was made and stuff like that. And it looks quite interesting. So it is one I'm going to watch. And then I did remember watching Monsters when he did that and Godzilla. So in his work, I'm pretty good, like happy with what he's done, and I'm hoping he applies a lot of that to Jurassic. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with the casting. To be honest, I couldn't think of anyone else off the top of my head that I'd put above him at the minute.
Yeah,
fair enough. Steve?
I completely agree. Basically, so I was quite excited for Leach coming on because, like, I'm a big fan of like John Wick. He did Deadpool 2 as well, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah,
sort of full-on action film. I mean, I couldn't see it as a Jurassic film, but having that sort of sense of like full-on action and complete and nuts all the way through, I thought it might be a different taste and feel to Jurassic. But with Edwards, I've not really seen any of his films. I think I've seen just Rogue One, and that's it. So I can't really comment on his directing styles.
You got to watch
Godzilla,
man. Godzilla.
Yeah, it is. It's on the list. It's on the list now that he's been announced.
Thing is, he comes from a visual effects background. Before he was a director, he was in visual effects. So I'm kind of excited to see where that takes it. Because my biggest gripe with Jurassic World in particular was certain scenes with how the raptor CGI was done and stuff like that. And while he's not doing the CGI in the film, I'm interested to see what input he has on that.
Yeah. See, now for me, right? See, now I'm definitely excited about this because I really liked Godzilla 2014. I think I preferred it to the Godzilla King of the Monsters film. I preferred it to Kong. I haven't yet seen Godzilla versus Kong, or the newest one, or the one that's coming out. Yeah, I still haven't seen that. And I think what I liked about Godzilla 2014 is the cinematography of it and how the so I didn't know that he did this until recently. I didn't even really pay attention to him being the director of it. So it's nice to know that's one of his jobs. So I kind of one thing I did like about that film was there was a scene where you've got the like the military going, like it's all like undercover in darkness, and they're like hunting, searching for. I think it was Godzilla or something. I've only ever seen the film once or twice, so I'm going back a few years.
It's a submarine, isn't it? Nuclear submarine in the jungle.
Yeah.
That's right,
Yeah.
And I know that, and it just felt so like it felt so suspenseful, and I was like, this is what like the sort of feeling that I was hoping, that I like from a Jurassic movie, right? So knowing that now in hindsight, I'm hoping he can bring that sort of thing in to this, and it'd be perfect. Rogue One, arguably one of the best Star Wars films there is. I think it's really, really well made. Great sort of stylization as well. It feels very different from all the others, and I like that part of the storyline as well with Star Wars. It takes you away from the lightsabers a bit, and it's a bit more grounded. A bit more. It's sort of more. It focuses more on the human characters as opposed to the bigger picture. So I really do like that. And obviously, then we get the spin-off series on Disney Plus, which is the Andor series, which I think's one of the best series we've had, arguably the best. So of the Star Wars lot. So and obviously, I know you guys aren't big on the Disney sort of Star Wars stuff, but I'm a huge fan of it. So for me, him being involved is quite positive. And what was the other project? Oh, the Monsters one I haven't yet seen. But I know that Sam Phillips did post like a little scene from some like two octopus tentacly things.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
To sort of show a bit of perspective. And while I'm on it, the comment I starred was from Jag Rex, and it was one thing the compliment Edwards is on the films is produces always gives you a good sense of scale, like which is something Jurassic World desperately needs. A scene from Godzilla 2014 and Star Wars, and that's kind of why I started, because I thought it was kind of on the point I was going to mention. And I think there was another one. One thing I complimented Edwards on is that the films he produces always gives you a good. That's why, yeah, that was it. That's why there's another message. I thought it was the same one. But yeah, so I'm really, really on board with this. I think it could be good. And the fact that he was on the panel at the 25th anniversary, which I thought was really interesting. And ironically, I didn't even know really why I couldn't really like work out why he was there anyway. And then now it's almost like it all makes sense now. Like it's an obvious choice, isn't it?
It was meant to be.
Yeah, it really is meant to be.
So even when you look at like what he did with Rogue One, like you could have had 1,000 different directors direct that film, and they would have shoved fan service from every movie down your face. And I don't think he did that with Rogue One. So I think that applies to Jurassic as well, where he might take that same philosophy, where there is enough fan service in it for the hardcore fans to kind of go back to. I'm hoping he kind of does that with Jurassic and just does it subtly rather than putting a lot of fan service in there just for the fun of it.
I think sorry, Jack. The biggest issue I think with Rogue One, which that's probably my favourite of the new Star Wars, is, which isn't saying much. But
it's a good film though. Like it is a good film.
It's very well directed, presented really nice, sounds amazing, which is I think is true of all of his films.
Yeah.
But I think he overindulged on the CGI necromancy with the old Grand Moff Tarkin and Princess Leia.
That's
everyone
Especially Leia.
Yeah, well,
that was new then, though, wasn't it? They haven't really, they didn't have mastered skills in.
My pet theory is that he was sort of pressured into going all the way with it to like show off proof of concept. Disney saying, "Look what we can do," because he's of the school of like less is more. If you watch his other films, less is more. Obviously, he uses a lot of CGI. Whatever.
Even the way he films it is less.
Tarkin, not to go too on a tangent on blooming Star Wars, but Tarkin would have been better in just reflections only. Like when you first see him in the film and his reflections in the glass, it looks great.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then he turns around and you're like, ugh.
That's what I'm saying.
But Leia didn't even need to turn around. We all knew who that was.
Yeah, I agree. Leia wasn't done very well at all.
He pushed it too far.
Yeah.
He pushed it too far. That's Peter Cushing up here.
So,
that's his face.
So if we're gonna, what sort of things, knowing like obviously his history of sort of movies and things that we like about those movies, and obviously we've been overly quite confident really and positive towards his appointment if it's all officially made and properly done and that. But so what are we looking? What is he going to bring to the table? Like what do we think?
Don't know.
Everything we just said.
Yeah. No, but what is it? No, but what is he? No, okay, is there anything? Okay, let's elaborate that a bit better. Is there anything that he's going to bring that that Lech wouldn't have brought?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I would say cinematographer, definitely.
Is that the biggest thing? Do you think?
I think for me, just if you could compare two of each one's films side by side, for instance. Like there's no competition in the way it's filmed in terms of cinematography. Like Gareth Edwards is like way above. Like in just
it's not even that he's way above. He just feels Jurassic. Like you watch Bullet Train, and in no way does that feel like a Jurassic movie. And then you watch Godzilla 2014, and it feels like it could be in the blooming same universe.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's it.
Yeah.
He just has that. And,
And again, I think going back to his kind of less is more is. I watched a thing actually not long before he got announced. Actually, a mini documentary on how he films certain stuff and why he films them a certain way and stuff like that. And even the fact of doing like miniatures and stuff like that, he's a little bit old school in that sense where he'll still use a lot of miniatures and stuff like that to film stuff, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, actually, I like them old school effects. I'm always quite appreciative of them as well. I think. If they're shot right, they can still look really good, can't they?
Yeah.
There's a shot in the Creator that reminded me. Maybe that's what you're talking about. There's a shot in the Creator of like a massive, vast plane aerial shot with a little truck going like across the frame. It's on the ground. He just put the camera on a bit of dirt that looked cool, and CGI'd a truck going through it. So you're talking about scale. That's literally a patch of dirt about this big that he pushed the camera on because it looked cool. Like that's the sort of like proper filmmaking stuff. You know what I mean? Like guns.
Yeah. If you used to do that full scene in CGI, you're looking at more budget. The more budget you can save, the more you can put into better shots.
Exactly.
I think if he can bring the level that Iona brought, then I'll be well happy. I just hope he doesn't film in that same ratio because I hate that aspect ratio. Zoll says he has a stance with behind the scenes process with some visual effects knowledge. As he talked about his recent movie, where he puts his car over, he dried her over bed, and kind of looked
Yeah,
like a
so
big
it's-
set when it's a minute. Yeah,
That's
it's
what
cool.
I'm on about. It's got that
Basically,
eye
yeah.
to think, what's the most efficient way to achieve this? Does the ground look good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it going to be so cheap because I just point a camera at it? Yeah. It's like Monsters. He just had like a crew, him and a sound man took a camera and went around like Central America filming stuff.
Yeah.
All the extras in the film are just people that he found, like, and just said, "Here, can you say this line while and look scared or whatever?" And it's like it's great. It looks like they feel like real people.
Mad, isn't it?
Proper gonzo, like, but effective filmmaking.
Jay Rex says there are many directors who don't even know how to handle creatures, thus making them feel inorganic. Edwards is the first director in a long time to make creatures feel real. Cool. That's a good little comment. So I think we should go to a little break just for 10-15 seconds, and when we get back, we're going to talk about David Koepp, which should be interesting. All right, so just a quick one, because we have obviously done the main video about this, and without you, I just want to hear your opinions. Basically, used to Sicky and Jack on when you found out the news of David Koepp being brought back. Was you looking forward to it? Go with Sicky first.
I sort of was and sort of wasn't, because he's, from what I can remember of briefly looking at his Wikipedia page, he's written, it's kind of middling. Like, he's done, like, obviously Jurassic Park, great. Did he write The Lost World? Yeah, he wrote The Lost World,
Yeah.
which obviously I love it, but it has got some kind of big problems with it. And he did that Mordecai film with Johnny Depp. Like, he's got some stinkers.
Did he not do Crystal Skull as well?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Well,
The
And he
worst
did
one
Dial
of
of
these.
Destiny.
But then I
Let's just
like
get-
Dial of Destiny.
I'll Google him.
Yeah, it was boring.
Yeah, that's
He
it.
did like,
Well, speaking of
and
like
Raimi Spider-Man as well.
like speaking of like the David Leitch and the directors, changing to Gareth Edwards, like that's a good example. Like Dial of Destiny missed the Spielberg touch. That's what was missing. It's not necessarily the writing too much, but there was a bit of some naff writing in places. But the actual direction was the thing that let that film down, in my opinion. It didn't feel the same. I watched Kingdom of the Crystal Skull the other night, and it's Spielberg through and through. So with Gareth Edwards, I think we're going to get that. And then with David Koepp, this is where I'm like, okay, so I haven't personally enjoyed a film of his that he's written and been attached to. And it's not to say he's at fault. It could be other factors like the direction.
You've enjoyed one of them.
Well, I've
I just
enjoyed
had a look.
War of the Worlds.
There you go.
That was the last one.
I love War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
That was the last
got
one I
some-
enjoyed, and that was 2005.
Yeah, absolutely love that film.
But
He also-
yeah,
I watched it about 3 weeks ago, actually.
yeah.
So
Such a
TERRORDOME,
good
you're
one.
saying The Mummy 2017 didn't float your boat?
No,
The Mummy.
this is what I'm saying. I'm worried about, okay, he wrote The Lost World. Everyone's like, woo, and Jurassic Park, woo. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but have you seen how he's doing? Like now, it's like,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I don't know. It's not as amazing as
We could be getting a Mummy, not a Jurassic
Maybe.
Park. It's,
Okay, but
maybe.
okay, let me just. I'm just going to argue this point here, right?
Yeah.
It's more actually no. I'm more just throwing a sideways stance. Who would be a better suited writer for this then? Because just if you think about, going off of experience of the franchise and almost where it all began, you're kind of looking at, one of the best people for it, really, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I'm not denying that, because just because I didn't enjoy the films doesn't mean his writing doesn't always stay the same. Basically, when you have a script, you write a script, it changes during filming. Actors might not perform a line that when you read it on paper reads amazing, but the actor just doesn't deliver it as well as it could have been delivered. Like that, there's so many factors that go into, you know, why blaming the writing is a weird way of attacking a film. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, he is the best, I think, at this time, and I think maybe some evidence of that is the fact that Universal are very excited about this script, or Amblin are, because they're going for it, and like, you know, they want to shoot this year, they want to release next year. There's something about this script that they've seen that they want us to see. So I do hold out some hope there.
Did he not write a script for Jurassic World that never?
No,
got
he consulted.
Did he consult? Right.
Yeah, he really liked. He misread Colin's intentions with Jurassic World, but he liked their story. He basically said like he liked the idea of people finding dinosaurs boring, and it's like we're not going down that rabbit hole.
Well, I do think like he's definitely gonna be probably quite popular among the majority of the fan base, I think, isn't he? Because
I've got no issue with disappointment. Like,
no, it is for me. It was always. I think it's more of a risk when you go for a new writer. I think because you're worried whether they're, you know, whether they're just looking at it as a job or something. I know they're all going to look at it as a job, but what I mean is that I think if someone comes back and returns to do a movie, such as like he did for the second film, you know that he's, you know, it's almost like, you know, going away for, you know, your holiday and then coming back to work. Right, let's crack on. I think that it's probably going to feel like he's hopefully it feel like he's never left, and it's familiar. Familiar is probably the word I'm looking for, really. So it's not going to be like a brand new sort of like crap. I'm way above my head here. So that probably could be a positive.
Well, that's the thing. I'd love to know the history of what motivated him to write this. Like, did someone approach him with an idea? Did Spielberg have an idea and go, Koepp, can you write the script for this idea that I have? Or did he come out of just hiding and went, I want to write another Jurassic? Like, what was it?
Or just didn't enjoy the Jurassic World trilogy and thought, you know what, I'm writing
even if it's that.
Yeah.
Even if it's that.
Don't forget when there was some leaks that occurred of script notes for Dominion, and to this day nobody knows who this consultant was that trashed the fucking movie. Oh, I've done it again. Sorry, guys. Can't help swearing. I have a sneaking suspicion they might have sent it to Koepp. So he's critiqued the film, and then they've maybe gone, while you're there, do us a little treatment. See what you've got. You got any ideas for a Jurassic, David? And he's gone, just so happens. And then maybe it's gone from there.
There it is.
That's my theory.
Like, release this rubbish, and then I'll do the next one for you.
He pulls off a
I'll show you how to do it. Yeah.
Who agrees that we used to get Universal to pay attention to Elliot Wilder? He's quite good. He's really good. We've reviewed quite a few of his little Jurassic fan films that he's made, and they are really, really good. I think my favourite one is probably the Raptor one he recently did. That was superb. Really good. You can watch them on our channel. We've reviewed them if you want to look another time. Not now, because we're live, but another time. Jagrek says David and Edwards is probably the best combination because I think their strengths could cover each other's weaknesses.
Yeah.
When all of the director talk was going, part of me was kind of hoping that Bryce Dallas Howard would have been put into mention.
I was on board with that. If she would have been told as she's the new director, I think, because one thing about Bryce is she gives 100% in everything she does, and she loves the Jurassic stuff, doesn't she?
Yeah, and if you see the was it the Mandalorian episode?
Mandalorian.
Yeah. Those were directed really well.
They were.
I mean, granted, they're only short, but
yeah, I don't know whether I would want for a feature film. It's not that. I just don't know whether I'd want her for a Jurassic feature film. Don't know why. I can't explain why. Got no reason why. I just like, if you made another film, I'd go and watch it. But for Jurassic, I don't know. I don't know whether her talents are good enough for that.
I was guessing that Spielberg, because everyone was guessing who do they think is
imagine
direct this film, and I just thought go big or go home. I was thinking he's got nothing slated for 2025. I thought, imagine, for those who didn't like the Jurassic World movies, they could go, hey, look, Spielberg's back, and that's like the big marketing push. I was like, it's ripe for the taking, Spielberg, but Gareth Edwards is, probably the next best pick.
Second best choice. I can't, I was thinking there, who else would I put?
I'd like Matt Reeves. I love the Planet of the Apes series, and especially cinematography wise, you're looking in the same sort of ballpark. I know it's wet digital as well, though, so you're going to get the best visual effects anyway. But I think that sort of stylization, I've always really liked the idea of. Yeah, go on, Steve.
I was just saying, the way that whole series is shot is just, it's really good. I love that whole story arc and everything like that. So he would have been a good director, but whether it would have worked for Jurassic is different.
Yeah, and do you know what? I love Peter Jackson's Kong, and that'd be a really fun Jurassic movie if he ever directed something like this.
He loves Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
He's got animatronics in his big warehouse, his museum, his personal collection. So he loves Jurassic Park. But
I think he'd be sick. I'd be well on board with him because I like most of his films, and I know it's very CGI heavy, but I actually like the way he does, he shoots creatures and things. So especially the King Kong film, it's probably my favourite King Kong film. But out of the most recent ones,
you can definitely see the Jurassic influence over Meet the Feebles.
Yeah. You'd have Jurassic City 48 FPS in 3D.
Can you imagine a Tim Burton Jurassic?
Yeah, that'd be weird.
He was in the bidding for the original film. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Him and Warner Brothers were going to do it, which would have been. I think, you want to say it's going to be filled with black and white stripes and Johnny Depp, but I think we would have gotten the Planet of the Apes 2005 sort of situation.
You mean we wouldn't have got Beetlejuice, but with dinosaurs?
Yeah. That would have been. That's what I would have liked.
Yeah.
Yeah. This comic, we don't have any of that information yet, do we? Who's going to be the main characters or anything? Nothing's been.
I think that they'd be really stupid not to reach out to Bryan Cranston after he said in that interview that he's interested in being in a
Bryan
Jurassic.
Cranston.
And he's in Godzilla 2014, so he knows Gareth Edwards.
There's one actor I really, really wished was in a Jurassic movie, and obviously he can't now because he's passed away. It's Bill Paxton. I've always would have loved him in a Jurassic movie. And
CGI.
CGI, yeah. I just don't know why. There's something about him that I think he just would fit perfectly in this sort of universe.
Yeah.
I do like Bryan Cranston, though. He's probably one of my favourite actors. So I'd love to see him.
I think he's a safe bet at this point. I'd say.
I'd be so excited if he was in it.
Stupid not to reach out to him after that interview the other day.
Yeah, that'd be so funny if he was in. He's kind of it does feel like an obvious choice, don't it? It was almost like he was saying, "Yes, please select me."
He was, I felt like he was maybe just being sort of show busy, polite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If he learns that Gareth Edwards is doing it, Gareth can just be send him a text and oh yeah, but how serious were you about that comment?
And if you're going to kill me, don't kill me in the first 15 bloody minutes.
I always thought, speaking of a Brian, actually, I always thought a younger version, but Brian Cox would have been quite a good baddie in Jurassic.
Brian Cox, ain't he?
The Scottish geezer.
Yeah.
Big beard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's the astronomer?
He couldn't do it at his age now,
not a physicist.
No.
I'm thinking of bloody... And here we have the Earth. I'm thinking of that geezer.
No.
Yeah, that'd be a good
Star
shout.
constellation.
Yeah. When he was in the age he was around playing Troy or something like that, would have probably been good.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue into moving on to the next topic, which will be, I saw a post saying that they're filming on the islands again. So we're going to go to a quick, short 10-second break and then we'll be back. So I saw this message come up saying that they're going to be filming on the islands again. Now, I'm okay as long as it's almost like a flashback to like Nublar, if it's a flashback. I'm really happy for them to go on sauna again. And I remember you made a little comment on that, Jack, on someone's post, didn't you?
I'm always making comments on.
You mentioned, I know. You mentioned something to do with your. You posted up your DPG site thing, didn't you?
Oh, saying that just don't forget, that we wrote that there may be dinosaurs still there. That was I just was pointing that out. I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, but it's true though, isn't it? Like there could be dinosaurs still there. I never ever believed personally that Sauna was dead.
Sauna is something has survived. That's that island. Yeah.
I think there's always life finding a way on that one.
Yeah. Just because they're filming back in Kuala Lumpur, for instance, in Hawaii, doesn't necessarily mean that we're going back to the island. They could be using that as a filming location for another area and just not showing you the island.
Yeah, it could be.
I'm actually a bit gutted if they do end up doing that, because I was meant to be going to Hawaii in July and I changed it to go to South Africa in September instead. I'll be devastated. I'll be devastated if they end up filming there in July.
Change back.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, there's four other islands that we haven't explored yet in films. So four. So there could be a whole all sorts of stuff on there. Old ruins, new dinosaurs, whatever.
The only thing on those other islands, it was on Sauna in the Trespasser canon, but like the ancient ruins that they talk about, that's the only other thing I think, aside from old InGen facilities where they built stuff before the Hurricane Clarissa. It's like what else is there to really explore? It would have to be something completely out of left field. That's why I'm not worried that they go back to the islands or whatever. I don't care what this film is as long as it's good. Don't care if it's in modern day, don't care if it's in the past. Yeah, as long as it's a good film and it doesn't step on the toes of what's come before.
I mean, look at Fallen Kingdom. The first 45 minutes to an hour of that film are probably the best part of the film, where they're on the island.
100% the opening credits to Fallen Kingdom is the best.
Yeah, the moles a bit,
But then that's all we could get. They say like they're filming back on the island. They could literally just be doing a 5-minute clip.
Yeah.
And that is it. We just don't know until it fully kicks off.
It's an expensive 5-minute clip.
Yeah. Spare no expense.
Welcome Jackson's Animations was my first choice. But when I heard Edwards took the helm, I thought it was an excellent fit. Nice, fair play. So regarding to the islands, now I'm trying to think in my head, like obviously reasons as to why they would go back, and the main thing for me would be there be like having some sort of lure to go back to something that's been abandoned in the past, and then have like a reason to go there. And the other option
for cleanup, baby.
Well, you sound sick with you, Sicky.
Sorry, just thought something really daft, but it's not.
Go on.
It's not. It was.
Go on.
I can't share it. Sorry. It's not even funny. It's just when it's.
Is it a video that you're thinking?
No,
in your
this
head?
is what it is, because you got to be open about it. I just thought I could just show my ass. Show my ass now or something. I won't. They just get the daft thought. I could just do it, and it would be. I don't know. Sorry.
That's how stimulating James's conversation.
No, I think that's the ADHD in you there, mate. Popping out.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's funny.
Asses out for Gareth Edwards.
You can do more than that and get people cancelled, that's for sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
Whose area arse is that? Is it the big lettering in the middle that says arse?
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's
of Jurassic.
Gone
it's just like
look down here. It says ass.
They have, they did mention that. Where did they mention? Should I ask that it's going to be an action film, because I swear that they mentioned that it was going to be more
Yeah.
action in
It's just
some
people
reporting.
saying,
That's
oh,
why
it's gonna-
David
it's-
Leitch was, you know,
Yeah,
in the
it's going to
initial
be like
beginning.
Escape from New York, and it's more action. I don't know where people
Well,
are getting this from.
So I'm
That's-
imagining it like, you know, the I'm sorry, Steve, the Halo drop sequence from Godzilla 2014, where it's like an extract. They have to go in and extract the bomb from that area, and it's like all action. I feel like that's the kind of thing we might be getting with this.
That would be brilliant if they did that on, say, Sauna, and then they all just get completely like ambushed by a load of like animals, different raptors or whatever. I'd like to see like the Troodons from the game, the Jurassic Park game.
Yeah,
I'd love to see them little.
I'm down
them
for
little-
that.
Like, why not? If you're going to bring in new animals, I know like the game's kind of not canon because it kind of contradicts with the visitor center and all that sort of stuff, but there's no reason why you can't at least use that design. If it's under the same Jurassic IP, there's no reason why they can't use it. They can't use that design, bring them into the game. And there's one of those scenes in that the start of that game was with the Hispanic character. I can't remember her name, where she's sort of running through the wilderness and their like little eyeballs are glowing and you can't really work out what's going on. And that'd have been really good. But yeah, I can imagine that scene being quite intense and quite good as an opening scene.
I hope they travel to the island on the Operation Genesis balloon, though. That'd be good.
Yeah. Nemo. Yeah, well done, Zul. That's no, sorry, but sorry.
Well, I think you mentioned earlier on Godzilla 2014, the submarine scene. It's like that kind of thing. That is what I'm expecting of this film. Because you look at Gareth Edwards type movies, there's lots of militaristic stuff, and I feel like that we're going to get a very military heavy Jurassic movie.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that.
That's what I'm
All
thinking.
of- all
like
of his
something
films-
that's different. We haven't
I think
had.
that they are, aren't they?
They all have a little bit that's like a war film. Like even
Yeah.
Rogue One, there's like the land in Omaha beaches, and they've got
Monsters does.
We're definitely getting something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe that's why
Extraction.
they've hired him, because the story kind of leans in that direction.
Yeah, be like, you got to get these hostages. It's Spielberg's idea, John Sayles' script. The drug dealers, and they've got to parachute in some Ankylosaurus and Dilophosaurus's gun strapped to them to like go and rescue these kidnapped kids from this drug.
He was got to have been taking the piss though, right? He can't have been serious when he was saying that.
But that's what's written in the sales script.
Yeah, I know.
And so I feel like maybe that's the kind of thing we're going down. We're gonna get human dinosaur hybrids.
No, I hope not.
I don't think they've got that way.
Yeah, Gareth Edwards. Everyone's excited now. You wait till you see those Ripley-looking monstrous things come out of those darkness.
Jurassic.
From behind the volcano appears Godzilla.
Yeah.
And
I
that
just-
brings it back
I
to
just hope we
Burton,
don't-
Tim Burton.
I just hope you don't see any of these like animated characters coming in, like the Darius and
God.
all them lot, because I think because then I'd feel like they're kind of forcing that on me as a canon rather than me willfully accepting it. And it's just like then you get all like all the younger generation like, hey, told you canon there. It's just like, and you're just like, oh,
They can like what they like.
it's all right. Then you can. It's fine. I don't care. They can like what they want, but
You can't call it canon.
yeah, how dare you?
Imagine if Gareth Edwards' David Koepp film is just like a live action Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah.
Oh my
Jurassic
God, yeah.
Season.
Imagine that. Imagine the outcry from the older fans.
Do you know what? I'm definitely
Yeah.
up for seeing. I'm definitely up to going to Sauna and seeing the Spino again, 100%. If he's not on Jurassic World, Jack, and he didn't die in the volcano. I really hope to see dinosaurs. We know, like, I don't want to see Rexy again. I think we're going to see Blue again because she just sells toys and
Yeah.
she's just
That's interesting
faced.
because I said on my live stream last night that I don't think we might not even. I don't think we'll get Velociraptors in this movie because I feel like their story's done narratively. Like, what else is there to explore with the Velociraptors
I agree, but they've got to, they probably will try and, if they do that, they've got to explain where Blue is in the beginning of the film and get it done and dusted.
It'll probably be Beta. It probably won't be Blue. They're probably because Beta is exactly the same as Blue. They'll just change slight design.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to use anything. No characters, dinosaurs, no Rexy.
No,
nothing.
no.
I think it's going to be its own complete thing.
They will likely have a T-Rex show up.
Oh yeah.
I think he's right with this. Is that when you with Jurassic Park, obviously Rexy wasn't Rexy. It was just the T-Rex because it was the main villain. Because there were like a group of people that were stranded on an island. There was nothing else to focus on other than the dinosaurs being the main villains and the main threat. So it was either, you were in the room in safety or you went outside the door and you were in danger. It was that simple. And that's something that I think that the newer films, obviously, you lose that because they're on a grander scale. And, you can just go and hide in a house or in a building or whatever, right? The one thing about Bison Valley is it didn't really feel remotely unsafe because it was like a university campus. So the whole point during that movie, I didn't have any ounce of tension. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just the same thing. But even with Jurassic World, until we had the Indominus scene and the breakout, there wasn't. And obviously, the bit where the raptor handler fell into the pen, you didn't feel the intenseness and the danger. So with this, I think with a new film, it would be a good idea to have the simpleness of it again, and have the main focus being just one predator or, making a big deal out of something rather than bringing things back in again as something you're rooting for. I want the villain to be something that you don't like. You don't want them near you. You don't want them to be, around your main characters. And I want to have the stakes to be a bit higher again. I'm hoping that they do, at least not afraid to kill characters, especially with a new cast. You've got no reason to then save them. Do you know what I mean?
We know Bryan Cranston's going to die within like 5 minutes, so that's a guarantee.
Yeah. He's going to make meth. That's what they do. It's an extraction to get the best meth maker and the 5 deaths.
That's what I will say. Like just to reiterate, like you look at Gareth Edwards' library of movies, they're very military. Like prepare thyself for a very action orientated military movie is what I would.
Maybe
you need to stop dinos being like. Sorry, Steve. You need to stop dinos being amicable to each other as well. Like after they've had a fight, just shake hands and get. You know what? We're not going to fight now. We've had a fight. We'll just walk away now.
Yeah. Well, one thing I liked about Dominion is that scene with the T-Rex and the Giga fighting over the deer. Like, that was real. That's what an animal would do. They wouldn't, if you don't need to fight, you don't fight to survive. It's just what's it called? Fight or flee, isn't it? It's the same. But then when at the end when they kill the Giga, they're like raw celebrating. It's almost like a complete contradiction of like one brilliant piece of screenplay.
You don't see what happens next though.
I know, but you know what happens next because you don't know what happens next. You just assume the T-Rex is all right. Yeah, you don't see the ferret. But the T-Rex then, finds 2 random T-Rexes that have been there all along that never decided to show up.
Yeah.
They should have cleared that up a bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. And the two brown T-Rexes that clearly aren't different from each other. But that's another can of worms that we can open up another time.
My wish list is that they introduce a red Rex. Because in the novel, the T-Rex is described as
like the Kenner.
Yeah, that's why the Kenner toy is red.
That'd be so cool. I'd like. You were saying, Chris, you'd love a Juvie Rex, wouldn't you? Like a sort of sub-adult sort of size one.
Yeah, even if they like branched off and went down the Nano Tyrannus route or something like that instead of a Juvie Rex. But yeah, I'd like something like that.
It would be pretty cool. But I'm definitely up for going to the islands again, providing that it doesn't just feel like, oh, we're back here again. Because technically, Dominion was kind of an isolated island, wasn't it, within the Dolomite Mountains, really, the main focus of the film. So it wasn't really much different. So that stylization isn't a problem for me. I would like a flashback I definitely would like them to go to Sauna and discover some dinosaurs, especially like a Spino. That would be cool. And I wouldn't be against them writing it in that way. Even like I don't know whether it will contradict what the work you've done, Jack, on the site or not, or whether you left that open or not. I can't remember.
I'm not expecting them to know all the intricate details of what we wrote on those marketing websites. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping to see. I'd be happy for that. That'd be great. I like the idea of the two raptor species that we had as well. You know, like the lowland raptors with the tiger stripes and the highland raptors to sort of make justification of the the jungle change, just to make it make a little bit more sense, even though it was just a problem, obviously, with filming. But I think Sauna's a great place, and it's so big that there could be lost artifacts on that island that we've not explored. There could be, like, I remember in Terra Nova, remember that show, Terra Nova?
Yeah.
Well, right at the end of that series, before it got cancelled, they discovered like ancient artifacts that were in the, I don't know, a bit like your DDX stuff, Jack. And they discovered that sort of stuff. And I thought, this is a nice little interesting sort of view on stuff. I'm well on board. And then they cancelled it. So I'd be up for something like that on the Sauna. Definitely.
Thing is, I wonder whether they're going to explain away all the dinos that are in the Dolomites still. Yeah. Obviously, at the end of the last film, they was all still there. So they need to kind of explain. They don't need to go into detail, but they need to kind of, I think, brush over it as to what they're doing.
I guess that ecosystem's just left to thrive, isn't it? Really, like as long as it's not destroyed, like the theory, it was left to its own devices anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if the humans have abandoned it. I think it's a sanctuary, so I think like they maintain.
Yeah,
could be, yeah.
I don't know if it's like completely human free.
Mm.
The infrastructure's all still there.
Yeah, it's just got to be work. It's just got to work again, hasn't it? Because obviously the underground sort of path connection ways were, if anything, I actually think Biosyn, they had it great. They did everything really well and stuff. When you think about what they did, I know Biosyn, what's his face, Dodgson was was an ass, but like the actual, using the dinosaurs for pharmaceutical reasons and the connection, the pipes and all that sort of stylization of looking after, I thought that was great. I thought it was really, really well done.
Design.
Yeah, it was great. I think, could we get the 5 deaths, the other islands?
I don't know how they do it.
I
just
don't
know
know
if there's enough story
like what would be there that's new.
Yeah.
Because they're just land masses at the end of the day. It's like just a plot of land. It could be anywhere. It doesn't like the fact that those islands. I don't know. It's just an aesthetic, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I'm being too grumpy because I'm like, yeah, I've seen jungle.
I don't want them to go to any of the other islands because I think if they do, it'd just be another story that's kind of pushed in when it maybe didn't need to be.
But the thing is, it's all down to the story. I think.
It
doesn't matter if they're on the islands or if they're off. If the story is great, then
awesome. It doesn't matter, does it?
No. It's all cosmetic.
Do you know what I do like the idea of is the fact that you think about the when you look at at the Lost World when the 5 deaths was actually introduced, everyone was like, "Well, there's 5 islands. Wow, that's cool." And then it never ever got explored again.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's going to be really I love the fact that they've waited 7 movies to finally bring in the other islands other than Isla Nublar and Sauna. But I also think it's a perfect opportunity. Like the one thing about things like Star Wars, for example, is that because it's fantasy and because there's no laws with the realism, because it's all in galactic space, if you want to bring a new alien in, you can. No one can argue with it because it's in space. With this, it's almost like they're giving us, 4 extra. I'm using 4 other islands if you're using Sauna as one of the 5 deaths. So 4 other islands where you can do 4 new stories. Really, you can. Whether that's for you or not, I'm just saying for just hypothetically, that there's an option there that you could explore. You could use them islands. You don't know what's on them.
I just don't want it to be repetitive of what we've already seen before. You know, because they're going to be the same sort of ecosystem. You're going to be trapped on an island, you know, off the coast of Costa Rica.
There is a really unique idea that they haven't explored, where they could have these biomes on an island. Actually, the island could be, in fact, another island, a secret island where they have these biomes. They could be like this guy who lives there.
Get him
muted. These robots, and they go around and they maintain the dinosaurs, and the robots basically.
Are they dog-shaped?
Yeah, they're dog-shaped. And some of them could even look like they're out of Star Wars. They could be like these really big humanoid ones. And then, and he controls everything with like a game controller. So he can like literally control the T-Rex by jumping on its back and riding it, and with an Xbox controller. They haven't done that idea.
Proper film. Someone should make a cartoon of that.
Yeah.
I think that's where I ended that cartoon.
Yeah. Roger, I would like
this.
No.
I try to jump onto this. We've had this little conversation before about the X disease. I think that'd be good, but I think in order to do this, I don't want this to be done in one movie though. I think this needs to be introduced if it's gonna be, and then it has to be over like a trilogy sort of thing, so it can work out and pan over an arc like the Planet of the Apes did with their disease and how the humans changed and went almost primal. So I think that in that way, I think it would work. And there's no reason why they can't introduce it. It'd be the perfect opportunity to, you know, almost like 4 years time. 4 years has happened. You know, these animals have been in our ecosystem now for another 4 years. What's happened? How's things changed? You know, has it had an effect? A bit the same way that The Last of Us had an effect on the humans with the eating the bread and the wheat and the flour. You know, has there been a spread of, I don't know, because obviously any animals can spread diseases, can't they? Look what they reckon that the COVID came from the bats, don't they? Mm-hmm. Don't know how much of that was crap or not, but it's just what they said. So, you know, I think imagine there being some sort of disease that's developed from these creatures being now out in our ecosystem, and then that gets because we farm food, so it only takes, you know,
like a locust.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It'll be topical, but I don't. They just use it like you say as a parallel for COVID, and I don't want that. The
thing is, though, it's like, do you remember a bit of trivia for you guys? Do you remember what the DX virus actually did in the book? Do you remember how it functioned?
If only I'd have read it. If only I did an audio book.
Because as far as I remember from memory, and it's been years since I read the book, it was like
it was something in the sheep.
No, they were feeding the infant dinosaurs when they cloned them goat's milk,
and the sheep, something to do with sheep
prions in them, I think, made the dinosaurs super sick and started to kill them off, and it spread around the island. So you know that's why there's a heavy theme about extinction in the book. So. If they did DX, I don't know if it would affect humans. It would start affecting the dinosaurs, I think, maybe even birds, and that kind of pandemic, rather than something that's akin to Planet of the Apes that's already been done, you know, with a human.
Mm-hmm. I'll style this comment and we'll come back to it when we do the final thoughts. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, let's summarize this and then we'll move on to probably the final thoughts. Actually. So everyone happy to go back to the islands again, seems, providing the story's good and there's a reason for it. It's not just going to be a repeat, basically.
Exactly that.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Cool beans. We'll be back in about 10 seconds. And we're back. So, we just want to quickly touch on this. There's been a recent news that the company Saber, that is responsible for making the Jurassic Park survival game, have parted their ways with the company. Where was I? I said I sent it to you, didn't I? Saber Interactive, developer of the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake and Jurassic Park, obviously Survivor, will leave Embracer in a $500 million deal to become a privately owned company. So could that affect the game in a positive way or a negative way?
We don't know.
Depends if Universal are the ones who have bought them, and now Universal are their private owners. Then
Yeah,
it could be very
That
good.
Embracer group, it's proper bizarre. Like a massive conglomerate that bought up loads of game developers, Square Enix, Eidos Montreal, all this, not Square Enix, Eidos Montreal and all this stuff, did now with them, told them, right, go and develop games. So they all did. And then a few months ago, we're like, we need to sell you all, sorry. And they sold loads of stuff. Like there was a Deus Ex game. I don't know if you've played the Deus Ex games, but we've been waiting for a new Deus Ex game for like over a decade. And then finally, this company, Embracer, bought the developer and set them to work. 2 years go by of development, and then Embracer cancels the game and changes the whole company and like just killed it. So if the people developing this Jurassic Park game can get away from Embracer, sorry, can get away from Embracer, that's good. But where does that leave this game? Is it going to get lost in the shuffle? Because that'd be bad.
I do hope it doesn't.
I think Universal have put too much stock in it to let it go. I think Universal.
You would hope that, wouldn't you?
It looks too good to like. You think all the fuss that they obviously they shut down that Jurassic Park operations that those guys were building. That was a really well put together game so far for a fan made game, and it literally was kind of a very similar sort of look they were going with. And I can see why they shut. So to do that and then pull out and not complete. Surely by this point they've probably so into the game, sort of almost, because it was supposed to be released later in the year, wasn't it? They said 2024, end of like winter. So I think it's got to be still going ahead. Yeah, it's got to be.
They made such a big splash with it. And it was like the most viewed trailer at the Game Awards. That got the most buzz. So it would be kind of crazy if Universal just didn't keep that afloat.
Plus, it was good. Actually, it looks like a good game.
It looks class. It looks really, really good. I'm really hoping that we do get it, because it'd be so typical that it ends up just getting
it's something
cancelled.
We need. I love the part builders, but we need something different. We need an actual proper game.
If they get the new film out and Survivor out next year, then
I'm surprised that
next year is going to be a great year. It's going to be the 10-year anniversary of Jurassic World, and it's going to be the new film, and it'll be this game.
I just
was the game like next year is meant to come out?
I think it's the end of this year.
It was this year, yeah.
This year. Okay, all right, yeah.
I think it was like Christmas time, December. I think they were saying, they were hinting at anyway. But do you know what? The only thing I do hope though is that this game doesn't feel too detached in terms of like tone, because so far it looks amazing and what we expect from the Jurassic tone, Jurassic Park sort of era tone. I hope the new film can kind of. Because if they're going to come out at similar times,
I gotta go, guys.
Feel completely. That's right, no worries, mate. Thanks for coming on, mate. I don't want them to sort of then feel completely different from each other. Like you sit down, you play Jurassic Park Survival, and then you put your DVD in or whatever, and you whack the new movie on, and it just feel completely different. Like it's not even remotely the same franchise.
Yeah, so, I mean, on that, how cool would it be though if you played the game before obviously the film came out? So the game comes out in December, film doesn't come out until July. You play through the game just thinking, oh yeah, that's cool, that's a cool place. And then when you watch the film, you actually go back to maybe some of the places in the game. The chances of that are very slim. I know that, but I think that would be a nice nod if you would dare to do that.
I'm still waiting for Lego to add. I'm still waiting for Lego to add the Fallen Kingdom and Dominion parts.
Yeah, I'd love to play them. That would be cool actually, because the one thing I liked about the Jurassic World Lego games is that it stuck really close to the storylines, and it was really fun to play those. And I thought the color palette they nailed. I thought it was really, really well done. So that would be really, really cool for me. Sicky, did you ever get down to playing those Lego games?
No, I don't. No, the last
Didn't know, really good.
The last Jurassic Park game I played was Operation Genesis. If that gives
really?
you
Bloody hell.
perspective. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it must have been. I'm not that big of a gamer. I play like like I play like old Deus Ex games. And stuff like that. Really. Yeah. But I'll be playing this one. I'll be playing the Survival if it comes out.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see a play along with you sat in your mask on a webcam.
Do you know what?
I'll be happy to see him.
He gets at the aisle.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to see him play the aisle. I'd be like,
yeah,
you'll get the right hump.
That'd be great.
Yeah, maybe.
You never know.
I know, but yeah. So let's do our. Oh, I've got a few starred comments. Let me go on this one. So let's finish off with a couple of questions from people. What's your favourite dinosaur movie? Mine is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Says Jurassic Horror 2003.
Quite an unpopular opinion, but
yeah, fair enough. I'd like to know what about that makes you think that's your favourite. That's cool. In fact, leave that in the comments, in the the proper comments, not the live chat. So what's your favourite? Let's go around there, other than obviously the obvious Jurassic Park. Is what's your favourite other dinosaur type movie that's not in the Jurassic Park franchise?
Gone Before Time.
Oh, good shout.
That's good.
Yeah,
Good.
That's probably it.
Shout.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Oh, Disney's Dinosaur is good, but Gone Before Time beats it out.
Yeah, Disney's Dinosaur is very good, but Land Before Time takes
The Good Dinosaur isn't.
No, that's shocking.
I did watch that recently, though.
We need a Jack for this because he's like seen every dinosaur film ever made. If you look at his
Yeah.
I've still not watched that. Is it 69 with Adam Driver? I've not watched that yet.
I haven't seen that.
69.
69.
I mean, that's an interesting film, isn't it?
It's Freudian, one of them Freudian clits.
Yeah.
I'm yet to watch this one.
What is Jurassic Games?
Bloody hell.
I think I've watched Jurassic Hunt.
Have you?
That's why you say
Jurassic
that.
what?
Hunt with a H.
Jurassic.
Yeah.
Jurassic Hunt.
The other one is James.
Yeah.
Hey, better title than Jurassic City, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jurassic City.
I'm trying to think of the film.
Jurassic City.
Technically, King Kong's got dinosaurs in it.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
65 is good. 65, I really enjoyed that. I recently watched that on a commentary with the Missing Compies podcast. Me and Justin watched through it. It was actually quite good. Again, I watched it. I enjoyed it more the second time, actually.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it yet?
For a movie fan, I don't watch a lot of movies. Like that, I watched Godzilla recently just for a little refresh.
What,
And I was
the
like,
Monarch one or the actual movie?
Gareth Edwards Godzilla 2014, and I was like, yep, I can confidently say that's my favourite of the MonsterVerse films because it's the only one I've seen. And I was like,
I do want to watch that again.
If you look from the outside in, like me, I've only seen Godzilla 2014, and I'm seeing the trailer for the latest one. It's like, how did they go from that to whatever this latest one is? I mean, maybe it makes sense if you naturally chronologically go through them, but how do you go from that 2014 to King Kong with a big metal glove? And I don't know. It seems like it's
I don't know whether I'm trying to think of whether it's sort of gone into the future. I can't really remember. I can't say because I've not watched any of the newer two. So
I feel like this one has gone a bit more futuristic than the last one did. Like it does seem to have done a jump since Godzilla versus Kong to Godzilla X Kong. I'm gonna wonder how I know they're going to tap into the evolution side of it, like that's how it becomes pink or something. But
very wacky films. Looks like.
Yeah, I'm gonna put another dinosaur film out there, Guanji. I do enjoy a bit of Guanji.
Smoking the Guanji.
Guanji, yeah, Christ, that's an old one. That's where you Mike on the chat. He would he busts a few old
We
Harryhausen classics. Yeah. So Land Before Time's my choice. It's already all of our choices, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although credit where it's due, Disney's Dinosaur, I really love the soundtrack for that.
And the ride is good in.
The ride is good. That's going, ain't it?
Yeah, it's going.
They're getting rid of the Dino Land place, and they're replacing it with Encanto, I think. Which, to be fair, Encanto is an amazing film. I'm very.
No dinosaurs in Encanto.
No, and they're getting rid of the replica skeleton T-Rex and the big Brachiosaurus at the entrance. I'll be like gutted.
When are they getting rid of that?
No, they can't. They should move that.
Yeah.
Always. Oh, they can't. They can't. No. It's not Disney, is it? I was gonna say maybe Universal can say, here's like £1 billion. There's a couple of million. Can we take these skeletons off you and put them in the Jurassic Park section? Because it just makes perfect sense for that, don't it?
Yeah.
You know what's quite funny is that Disney have got the T-Rex restaurant with a full-grown T-Rex outside it. They've got the T-Rex skeleton, and they've got other skeletons around the Animal Kingdom section, with the Carnotaurus skeleton inside the dinosaur ride, and the Brachiosaurus at the entrance of it. And if only Universal could get hold of all them skeletons, that Jurassic Park section would be so good.
Yeah.
Look at this all.
Nice.
Yeah. Right. I think that is a good way to finish, gents. I've really thoroughly enjoyed this chat and conversation. Yes. Sicky, thanks for coming on, mate.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's always a laugh.
Before you go, can you tell the people where to find you, where they can get in, watch some of your stuff?
Yeah. I think I'm on YouTube at SICKY T. Just search SICKY T if you want. I think I'm on Twitter and all that stuff. Whatever. Yeah. I don't really make stuff very often, but yeah, that's it really.
Cool, and you should check him out. He's done some really cool videos, but only if you like stupid comedy Jurassic stuff. But yeah, they make me tickle me every time.
Yeah. Thanks for Jack coming on as well. It's good to have a chat with you.
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah, until next time, I guess. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new. If you've watched the video, please give it a thumbs up. And please leave a comment. We will respond to your comments. Yeah. We want to hear your favourite Jurassic movie, your favourite dinosaur movie, and anything related to the topics that we discussed today, which would be really, really interesting. We will Muldoon socks being one of them. And not being one of them, but we should have discussed that. But I'd love to see Muldoon's sock in a future Jurassic film. And if you agree with that, give it a thumbs up if you'd like to see a Muldoon sock in the future Jurassic film. Yeah, until next time, only one thing left to say, boys. Life will find a way.
Right, I'm going to get my ass out now, yeah?
Bye-bye.